everybody, and welcome to the Vintage Read. I've got so many great things to share with you today, so let's get going. Okay, first up is this, True Confessions, which has the lovely Carole Lombard on the front. Now, Carole Lombard was a beautiful comedic actress. She was strong, not ditzy, strong and funny, and she was just wonderful in that sort of slapstick comedy genre. In this one, she stars with Fred MacMurray and John Barrymore. And just a side note of interest, she was actually married to Clark Gable at one stage. Clark Gable, Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I'm going to edit that out, don't worry. So this came out in the 1930s, and she played a pathological liar in this movie, and Fred MacMurray was the lawyer husband who had to try and protect her from a murder charge, and John Barrymore was sort of the meanie who tried to blackmail them and stuff. So, but a good, great movie, and I just think this cover is gorgeous. Wouldn't that be beautiful framed? That is really stunning. I love it. She's just so beautiful, isn't she? So, True Confessions. Next we have a Nancy Drew book, 1960, first edition, The Sign of the Twisted Candles. Now, this was first published in 1933, but a new publisher published this edition, so it was the first edition for this publisher. Beautiful dust jacket. But I found out something that really shocked me last night. All my life, I've loved Nancy Drew books, and when I was a kid, I had the series Best Christmas in the World because I got a big series and I've slowly read through all the Nancy Drew books. I thought Carolyn Keene was a real person. I didn't realise they were ghostwritten under the pseudonym of Carolyn Keene. I had no idea. I always imagined that Carolyn Keene was a sort of Nancy Drew type character who probably solved mysteries when she wasn't writing. Anyway, this was written by a naval sea captain called Walter Cartig, US naval captain. Now, that just shocked me, blew me away. He wrote number 7, 8 and 9. This is number 8. And yeah, and that could probably explain why some of the action series was very convincing, because maybe he'd seen some action. But yeah, and he got into a lot of trouble because he admitted to the Library of Congress, where you have to register for your ISBN and all that, the cataloguers. He admitted that he wrote it. And the syndicate that published this book, using many writers and then publishing them under Carolyn Keene, basically sacked him after that. They didn't like it at all. He'd betrayed their confidence, and so it was quite a big deal at the time. So Walter only wrote 3, and there you go. So if you didn't know that, I bet you're as shocked as I am. And if you did know that, you'd probably think I'm pretty silly that I didn't know it. But anyway, I was amazed, had no idea that Carolyn Keene wasn't a real author. Okay, so last but not least, are you a really hopeless knitter like I am? Well, learn about knitting with this little Ladybird book. Now, for those that this is important to, because I know people collect these, this is series number 634. And this was published in 1972. It's in great condition, really beautiful. It hasn't got any marks or scribbles, or it's really well, it's not as new, but really good used vintage condition. And I put up this on Instagram. It's a little coin purse, and I would really love to make that. I would love to learn to knit and knit that. Maybe I should this weekend. Get on to this book and it'll teach me how to knit. But if you saw my history of knitting, then probably not. But my gran knitted, and I remember she used to really impress me because she used to knit without looking at it. So she'd be watching a show on TV and she would just knit without looking at what she was knitting at, and really fast. So yeah, it can be impressive when you can speed knit without even looking. So maybe you could be a speed knitter. Learn about knitting. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, enjoy your vintage reads. Bye.